Hi, I'm Ian Lawrence and I'm the author of Blood Influence, the first in a new fantasy series. Enjoy.
It really was a beautiful view. The sun low in the western sky created long shadows that stretched from the western slopes, putting the bowl into a relief that allowed for a better appreciation of the land. The fading light highlighted its beauty and showed off the sheer snow-capped mountains that encircled a country of fertile fields and rich pastures. She granted the scene a moment of contemplation before it had to be done. How long she had been here she didn't know, but it was much longer than anyone could want. It had not been a choice to come. No one would choose to come here. There never was a choice. Once you had been selected, it was inevitable. You weren't even aware that you were being selected until it was done and you were brought here to the tower. Left here in this dark and lonely place to find a way to endure or fail. Confined to the dark, in this place and in the dark, a darkness that subtly shifted between a cold, lifeless grey and the inky blackness of a tomb. The sun, light, wind and sky were removed and replaced with a still, breathless air that was chilled by the smooth black stone that surrounded her. Days were no longer marked by the dawn or the moon. The passage of time was noted only by the appearance of meagre rations of food and water, further punctuated by the requirements of bodily functions and the necessity of sleep, such as it was, filled with the shapes and dreams that were as vivid as the torments of the waking hours. What she remembered was fading. She knew that there had to be so much more where those memories used to be, but now all she knew was the darkness of the tower. As everything about her and who she had been became less distinct, less clear, like the impressions left of a dream after waking, the tower became firmer and stronger. The tower was becoming more present, who she was and who she would be. She remembered being collected and brought to the tower. She alone had been taken. She could remember voices crying and pleading for her, but could no longer see their faces. She assumed that they were her family, her mother, perhaps, or a sister, although she had no memory of either. In the dark, she could still remember the sun and the feeling of freedom from having the wind on her face. And now, here at the window, she could once again feel the wind. It was a comfort to her when comfort was all but forgotten. She did not mourn. How could she mourn people she no longer remembered or a life that no longer left its mark? Her world now consisted of the tower and nothing more. Once up the stairs and through the great entrance, the door had closed, removing the outside world and leaving her alone with the dark and what it held. Throughout her time here, there had only been contact with one other being, one that she feared, although it appeared infrequently. Each time it came, things got worse, but still, she longed for it to come so she would not have to be alone. To know that there was someone, or something else, even if it caused her harm. It came to test her. If she failed, she'd lose a bit more of herself to the tower. To succeed was to gain some of that back. Time and again it came, and time and again she had to endure the suffering. She knew that she was failing more often now, and that eventually she would fade completely. What it was that made her her would no longer exist, and she would be fully part of the tower. To never again have a thought of her own, never more to feel or hope or wish. In a place like this, that could be a comfort. Still, right now, enough of herself remained to hope for a way out, a way to avoid losing herself completely to the tower, to hope for freedom. In the dark, she'd stayed for so long, wandering circular halls and winding passages. Only now had she found the stairs which wound up and up, such a long way up. In almost complete darkness, she had climbed, resting at intervals until she arrived. Here, in a circular chamber halfway up the tower, there was a single window looking out to the west, looking out of the tower. Why had she not found this before? Perhaps she had, but could not remember. Here, she had a way to reclaim herself. This, she felt, was her last chance. One more visit from the being and she would lose herself completely, trapped forever by the tower. There may be more time to do this, or perhaps not. She could not tell. It was time. Seated on the windowsill, feet hanging freely over the space between her and the land below, she fixed her eyes on the sun as it gradually set behind the western slopes. She felt the wind on her face and embraced it as a friend. Feeling more herself than she had since she began to forget, she leant forward and looked down. At least for the briefest of moments she could be free of the darkness and free of the tower, before it would not matter anymore. That was freedom, that was hope, and that would be her victory. Raising her head to the last of the light, she pushed forward with her arms and felt the air encompass her. Enfolded in the rushing wind, she fell.
Hi, thanks for watching. We hope you're enjoying our interviews and book readings. And if you are, leave us a comment. Tell us what your favourite book genres are. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out when we post new content.